Hello, and welcome to another episode of Young Black Misses. I'm your host, Morgane F, and today I talk with licensed professional counselor Colin about mindfulness and being mindful meditation and being present in the moment. I loved our conversation because it was very honest and genuine, and his dog made an appearance too, so that was super cool. So I can't wait for you to hear the rest of that conversation. Stay tuned for the main event. But let's get into my favorite theme song. Hit it. Shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. Shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. I'm shaking my curls. Shaking my curls. Okay, so I was reading someone's comments today. An old coworker, she's white, and it said, "When will this stop? When will this end?" And I got so excited. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, she's talking about police brutality, and she's going to be a white ally, and she's amazing." So let me comment on this post. And I wrote this whole long comment about, well, if we're talking about the same thing that I think we're talking about, first thing is you need to call it what it is, police brutality, and then acknowledge that it's a problem and we need your support as a white ally to change things. Girl, look, boy, look. She was like, "Oh, I totally agree, but I wasn't talking about that." I promptly deleted my comment and took back my care like that Facebook has you do. And I was like, the current situation with police brutality within the black community to black people. I'm sorry. I'm a little frustrated. This current situation with unarmed black people being killed by police. I can shake my curls at that every daggone week because it is out of control. But what is shaking my curls going to do? Like, I'm sure I could be raising awareness. I know that is possible. I know that is possible. But what is that going to do? I'm tired. I'm tired of putting it on my Facebook status. I'm tired of hashtagging Black Lives Matter. I'm tired. I've been tired. I feel like we talk about trauma in the main event as well as some other stuff. And I feel like this is traumatic. This is, and we just keep having to relive it and relive it. We as Black people, we as Americans, prayerfully, if you're not a Black person, but you see this, I pray that it makes you feel some type of way. Angry, pissed, disgusted, something that makes you want to go, well, dag nabbit, what can I do? I've been done feeling like, well, what can I do? And I honestly don't know. I don't know what I can do. I know that I vote. I think I might participate in a boycott. There's a blackout coming up soon. I don't remember the date, but I might participate in that because I just feel like the black dollar is strong. If we stop spending, y'all gonna feel this. And what you gonna do? And I'm sorry, this is Young Black Misses, and this is describing me. But like, if people that kill me when they say, "Oh, I don't see color," or what kills me even more is, "Oh, I'm very woke." They're white saying this to me. I'm very woke. Like, the person that, like, if you didn't wish me a happy Juneteenth, if you was woke enough to tell me happy Juneteenth, honey, I'd be like, okay, I see what we're doing. But for you not to acknowledge that I may be stressed out. I had a boss. She wasn't even my direct boss, but I affectionately call her Boss Lady. And I eventually, years later, told her I affectionately call her that. And she laughed. And I remember when this was really popping off, where it just seemed like every week somebody was being killed. Probably around where Michael Brown was, and just all that, Ferguson, that kind of thing. And she came to me, closed the door because I had an office. I just have a daggone cubicle anyways. And she closed the door and said, "How are you doing?" And I just said, "I think I'm okay." "No. How are you doing with everything that's going on with this police brutality?" And we sat there for 15, 20 minutes and just hashed it out. That woman cares. So I don't know the solution. I don't know what can be done to make a change. I know that it is traumatic. I know that it is playing on our mental health. And I know that we're like taught to be, we as in Black people are taught to be strong and 2 steps 20 times better than other counterparts because we have no other choice. But when is someone outside of our race going to say, "You know what? Enough is enough. This bull crap needs to stop"? Like, now is the time. Now is the time. I'm going on. This segment is usually not this long. I remember another conversation that I had with a white person that I was working with at Bath and Body Works. And I was telling her that I didn't like that Justin Timberlake song that he had with Chris Stapleton, Say Something, Say Something. Like, because the hook is sometimes the greatest thing to say is to say nothing at all. And I tell you what, honey bunches, that ain't it, boo. That is not it. Like, you need to say something, not say nothing. And now that song is stuck in my head, and maybe it's stuck in your head too. But we have to speak. We have to acknowledge that this is not okay. We have to acknowledge that this is not right. We have to acknowledge that this is not humane. That could be my sweet, amazing husband, my sweet, amazing father, my sweet, amazing uncles, my sweet, amazing, yet sometimes crazy, and I don't even like that word, cousins. We have to acknowledge that this is a person with a family, with people that love them. And I'm tired. I'm tired. Okay. Whew. I feel light. I'm irritated, but I feel light. On to the next segment. What you chewing? All right, what I'm chewing. It's a special day. It's a special day because today is the day that me and the hubby are celebrating that we paid off, how much? $3,100 worth of credit cards. So I have in front of me like a Korean lentil dish. Have you ever had Korean beef before? This is kind of like that, but just vegan version with some jasmine rice. And so this was created with some green lentils, sesame seed oil. Ooh, sesame seeds be nice on this. Sesame seed oil. I had some soy sauce, brown sugar, water, and ginger. Okay, David's getting up to get the sesame seed. I am going to enjoy this wonderful glass of wine that we got on our travels to, it would be in here, babe? On our travels to Napa. Yes, get on the sesame seeds. So this wine is a red blend that I'm enjoying. Ooh, I love Napa wines because it's still in that great region where it just feels classic and fresh and drinkable and approachable, but it also has a sense of fanciness that I don't think Missouri wines where I'm from offer. But I do like Missouri wines. I like all wines. And I said that one time to a wine owner. She's like, "That's just your alcohol talking." I'm like, "No, seriously, I think I like all wines." Go ahead, say what you mean, David.
I was just going to say, everyone is like a person. It has its own personality and tells its own story. And Napa wines have a very specific upscale vibe that you can't find anywhere else.
And so, love it. Okay, here we go. This thing is still smoking. Okay. I think I've made Korean beef on this show before. I think I have. This is definitely the same thing. It tastes exactly the same. I mean, obviously it's not meaty, but
You still get the
same mouthfeel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's a little sweetness from the brown sugar, saltiness from the soy sauce, nice flavor from I don't know what it tastes like with some acid. I'm gonna try that with some acid. I think I have some lemon or lime. Maybe some lime. I put some green onion on top of it too. I love this. This is wonderful. I encourage it. We're going on to the next segment. Cheers to paying off debt. Woo!
Woo!
Woo! All right, guys. Next segment.
Hello and welcome to the main event. I have a special guest with me. Say hello, Colin.
Hi, everyone.
How's it going? I'm doing a video. I don't ever normally do video with these things, so it's like nice to see his face. So good.
Good to be seen. Good to see you, man. It's been a bit.
Absolutely. Okay, so tell my listeners a little bit about you, your title, how you got started in your profession.
Okay. Yeah. So my name is Colin. I am a licensed professional counselor. While I was in college, I ended up getting a job at a group home for people with chronic mental illness and disabilities. So I worked there for a little over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I moved from Indiana to Portland, Oregon to get my master's in counseling in a place that wasn't Indiana, I got a job in transitional housing, and then I worked in crisis stabilization. So after that, got my license and have been working now doing home-based mental health therapy for people with trauma and depression, thoughts of suicide, work with bipolar disorder and anxiety.
I can relate to anxiety and bipolar. I struggle with those things. I think I'm doing a lot better. I see my doctor regularly. Actually, I'm talking to him soon. So, I mean, I feel pretty strong on that, but that's commendable. And I just feel like if I were in this role, I'd have to have someone that I can talk to. So I hope you have that person for you as well, because I feel like every counselor probably needs a counselor. Am I wrong on that?
Oh, absolutely. No, you're not. Whether it's supervision or just consulting with other professionals on cases, or just checking in with each other as humans, or actually just taking out the time to just see a therapist yourself. It is absolutely important for people doing this work to not go through it alone.
So you had mentioned some of the things that you're kind of an expert in. You said bipolar disorder, anxiety, trauma. Trauma and anxiety stuck out to me because the time we're recording this, we're going through a pandemic. So can you kind of describe trauma to my listeners?
Sure. So in situations where a person might be seriously injured or killed, when they have a sense of a loss of control over what's happening, maybe even a sense of hopelessness or powerlessness, trauma can take shape in the brain. And essentially, those memories of traumatic events can be stored in a different way in the brain, so that it feels like when something brings it up, some kind of memory or some kind of reminder, it feels like the thing that happened back then is happening right now. And so in these moments, in these days, we're all going through a scenario where we might be seriously injured or killed, where due to shutdowns across the country and world, there is a sense of a loss of power. And for some, it is really hard to keep hope alive in an overwhelming situation like this, something that we've never experienced in this way, and certainly weren't prepared for. as a country, and for many of us as just individuals. And it's drastically changed the way people are living. So there are different levels to trauma, but I would certainly put the pandemic in there somewhere as a traumatic event.
Yeah, I think it's something that we're going to look back in 10, 20 years and think of 2020 as all these words we're going to have around it. Social distancing and just, what's the other things? Quarantine. And then the phrases that we've made up, quarantini or zooming,
Oh my gosh, yes. I just saw people talking about maskne. So the acne that you get from wearing a mask all day long.
Now I'm looking at myself.
She's checking.
Little right here, mask. See, just these things that, and I think that's, I in my mind, I feel like we were making things funny or kind of making a humor out of it just to kind of shake the anxiety or just to cope, don't you think?
Absolutely.
But with this trauma that we're going through, right, or what, and in my life, I think it's making me go one of two ways. I feel like people are either going to feel like, okay, well, we've been stuck in the house I've been in the house since March. It's May now. I've been in the house since the 17th of March. I haven't been back to work. I've just been here working, go to the grocery store type of thing. But I feel like people can cope in either one of two ways. Either they're just going to Netflix and chill and they're just going to not really like be productive for a while, or they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I have to do I have to do all these things. I have to do all these things kind of girl. Like, I'm going to come out of this quarantine with like everything accomplished. And I know that's probably not the best thing, but it is what it is. And so when we think of what we're going through now, like how have you seen just with your friends or like, people you're interacting with, people switching up and kind of coping in this way or kind of like managing?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm seeing, I think the whole spectrum of different responses in my friends. Some people completely wanting to act like this isn't happening, that this is not the reality that we are living in. And so their way of coping is a sort of denial. And maybe that's not the most productive or helpful response, but it is understandable. And then, there are people that, like you said, they're just kind of shutting down, not necessarily engaging in many of the activities that they normally would use to cope. And if you're considering a perfect recipe for depression, take people away from their friends and their family, away from the work that adds meaning to their lives. Socially, isolate them. And it's not impossible to have, things that you do to, to cope or to fill the tank when you're feeling low, when you're feeling empty, but it's really easy to start dropping off of those things. And so for many of my clients, we're working on just maintaining the things that build them up when they feel low. So investing in their faith if they have one, or trying to reconnect with that if they're desiring to, but also, maybe adding in new skills, adding in things that they can do. A lot of mindfulness. So mindfulness being the act of intentionally paying attention to the present moment, to what's happening right now, and doing so with kindness and maybe a little grace for yourself in the process, because people are either withdrawing, like you said, or going out and wanting to do everything. And it's very easy to be even distracted by all of the things that you could do. If you're struggling with, depression or anxiety, it's very easy to be caught up in beating yourself up for things that have happened, or worrying about things that could happen or might not happen that we really hope would. And neither of those things are all that helpful or all that productive, because you only exist right now in this moment. So finding a little bit of time throughout the day to even sit and meditate, which can be as simple as Breathe in and think 1, breathe out and think 2, and only think about what you're counting in, out with your breaths, all the way up to 10. Every time you get distracted, just acknowledge it and come back. Whatever the last number was that you remember doing, 4, 5. And just taking a few moments to breathe and to ground yourself in the present moment, which, despite being a crazy moment for all of us, this is the only place that we exist. This is
The present.
Exactly. This
The
moment.
I love that mindfulness. That's deep. Like, I never really thought about it that way. But I guess the biggest thing that for me is creating a schedule, keeping me on, trying to stay on a schedule.
Mhm.
So I feel like something's getting done during the day. Mondays are trash. Like, Mondays, like, why was Monday invented? Mondays are nothing. Like, I can never, and I've had this conversation with my manager before. I'm like, yeah, Mondays is just not good for me because I have 2 meetings and I feel like I can't get anything done in the middle of those 2 meetings because they're kind of long meetings. So I kind of remind myself that, okay, I still got 4 more days to get whatever else I need to get done, and the schedule is good. But I love the stuff that you said about like meditation, because I've never really been able to do that. And so I feel it's just as simple as you said, just counting and then taking that moment to just kind of center yourself. But for a person like me, where just my thoughts are always racing, if I got to 5, I'm doing something, you know, like,
I would say so.
And I guess that's all that really matters is if I can get to 5, like, and you're right, then I can be easy on myself and have a little grace. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
It's like a muscle, essentially. Your ability to hold your concentration on your breath or on things that bring you joy or on anything that you want to attract into your life, anything positive, it's going to get stronger in you the more that you engage in that behavior. Essentially, and I swear someday this will be tattooed on my arm so I can just put my arm up and show my clients rather than repeating myself about this. What you practice grows stronger. So if you are in the middle of COVID-19, as we all are, and you are practicing your anxiety, you are strengthening that anxiety response or that anxious response in your brain in a very physical, tangible way. And if you are practicing engaging in or focusing on gratitude, then you're going to become a more grateful person. If you're practicing organization, you're going to become more organized. Whatever you put your attention on and whatever you repeat will grow stronger in your life. So if you get to 5 seconds today, that's great. But someday you're going to be doing 6 seconds, 7, right? 8 breaths. Eventually you'll lose track and just be able to focus on breathing in and out for whatever amount of time you wanted. But studies have shown that 15 weeks of regularly doing mindfulness meditation can physically change the brain, the way that it is structured, the way that it is functioning, to decrease the functioning of the amygdala, to increase the functioning of the prefrontal cortex, to actually help your brain function in a different way. So if you are wanting to do more with mindfulness or mindfulness meditation, there are apps, even free ones, that have comprehensive programs like Smiling Mind, which is available on Android and iOS platforms, completely free. They have programs for kids with different age groups even, and then for adults. And it can help kind of guide you through. So you just get to sit, listen to a soothing, relaxing voice, helping you through the process and teaching you all of these different skills so that eventually you have this whole mindfulness toolkit that you can use for various situations. It's a lot more convenient in terms of a way to cope than having to go to the bar or procrastinating from a project that you did want to get done until your molehill becomes a mountain. It's something that anyone can do anywhere, whenever they want. And it's as simple as breathing.
Breathing. Okay, I'm liking that tip. When you were talking, it made me think. Are you noticing a lot more people are reaching out for like telehealth? I'm hoping you're able to telehealth, but it sounds
Yeah,
like you.
absolutely.
Okay.
So my whole caseload is now switched over to doing telehealth, and it has been now for a couple months, just about, and we'll be continuing regardless of regardless of whatever the state of Kansas decides to do in terms of opening up the economy. We're gonna wait a little bit and try to play that safe. And I've even had a few people come in and start doing work together in telehealth with the idea that we might meet up at some point in the future in person, and maybe we won't. The consistent response from people, even people who told me, you know, it wouldn't be possible, I just can't do it, I can't figure out the technology, even though there are so many ways to make it so easy. I send my clients a text message with a link, they click on it, and up pops my face. And,
boom, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. So it is, it's very straightforward, and the general consensus has been, you know what, it's still therapy.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was going to work for me, but I see your face and I hear your voice and you see my reactions and you call me out when I'm bluffing. Oh, my dog's barking. And you call me out when I'm when I'm bluffing on things, and it's the same. It's still therapy. So I think it's a perfectly valid, viable option. Makes me glad that there are platforms out there like BetterHelp and Talkspace that have different kinds of options for people, even text message, video, phone call. So they have different ways so they can kind of meet people where they are and with what they need.
Okay, well, rounding out to the end of our time here, but is there any, you dropped some gems about the mindful meditation, but is there any other tips of how to cope during this time that you want to share before we get into my meditate or dump game?
Yeah, let's see. So I really like what you said about maintaining a schedule, because that is something that you can choose. You can choose to keep track. You can choose to continue to do things. You know, whether you feel hungry or not, you can cook dinner, right? And maintaining those things that your body needs, proper sleep hygiene, right? Make yourself comfortable, get yourself into a good position, maybe even do a mindfulness meditation before bed so that your thoughts aren't racing as you're laying there in a place that is supposed to be your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially choosing what you know to be the best thing for you, and paying attention to, but not necessarily relying on what feels right in the moment, because sometimes our feelings can get out of whack. If we're hungry, if we're angry about something else, if we're feeling lonely, hello. If we're feeling tired, it is a lot more difficult to respond to our lives the way, or actively lead in our lives the way we all would probably want to. So choose to do what's best for yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
I choose to do what's best for myself by getting some extra sleep tonight. That's what I'm thinking.
There you
go. Okay, time for my. I had to work this in. I've been playing this game this season with all the guests, and you kind of played on it. So I'm gonna do the first one without it being confusing, but it's not gonna be people. So I'll say mine. Okay, so Aldi's a local grocer like Price Chopper, or Hy-Vee's. Which one are you marrying? Which one are you dating? Which one are you dumping? You get it, or do you want me to give you mine?
No, that'll work. So Aldi, local grocer, or Hy-Vee?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So I will. Oh man. See, okay. Now I'm talking about killing Aldi, and I feel bad about it, but
Aldi.
You know, and it's just, you walk in there, especially right now, okay, yes, there are fewer people in the stores, and that is a good thing. They needed it, because if you walk in there, those aisles may very well give you anxiety, because there is almost no room in there. You cannot maintain 6 feet of distance in an Aldi aisle, I can tell you that.
No.
So if I had to let go of one, even though the prices are great and the selection, the quality, good, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
And I guess I'm gonna date a local grocery just to see what's out there, you know. And I'm gonna marry Hy-Vee because they you never get bored. The craft beer selection alone is it's not, you're gonna be surprised, right? It's gonna have everything you need. It's gonna be dependable, always gonna be there. So I'm
Okay.
marrying Hy-Vee.
Okay. I would have married Aldi. That's my story. Married Aldi. Okay. All right. All right. Now I try to make this relatable to mental health. So coping skills, I put journaling, deep breathing, or I think I know what you're gonna say, or meditation. Who you marrying, who you dating, who you dumping.
Marry, date, dump. Wait, was it marry, date, dump, and then I killed Aldi for no reason?
We assumed it was dump. So
Okay, thank you, people, because I'm not trying to kill anybody for. All right, I dumped Aldi. I feel bad now. Goodness. So journaling, deep breathing,
and meditation.
and meditation. That's hard. I'm gonna date journaling. I really
Oh.
believe in the practice. And sometimes we're a little on again, off again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably need to include that more. It's something I guess I come back to every now and again and sort of check in with myself. But
Right.
I guess I'm going to marry meditation. So
I figured.
yeah. And I guess I'm dumping deep breathing because a lot of people tend to call this deep breathing. And it is not. That is hyperventilating. And if you do it one time, you have starved your brain of oxygen. You can shut off the parts of your brain that are going to help you think things through, handle stress, make effective decisions, and put your brain that much more quickly into a survival type pattern where you're just thinking about getting away from something or fighting something off. And that can be helpful if there's a bear in your living room, but it's not so helpful when you're dealing with a situation that isn't going to go away in your relationships or in your own heart. So I think you need to take it further than just quote unquote deep breathing and actually do something that works with your body. As much as that is good if you are doing it right, you need to take it a little further to know what your body actually needs from each breath.
I like that. Okay, those are the only 3 coping skills I thought of. Are there any other like coping skills that are pretty high on the list?
Yeah, I think that being able to just get curious about your own thoughts. So if you adopt an attitude or a pattern of curiosity, when you're noticing yourself get angry, you might not even know it right away. You might notice first that your chest is feeling tight, or that your hands keep balling up into fists, or that your breathing has changed. And rather than reacting immediately, if you can pause, right? If you can stop yourself and physically slow down your body, right? Slow down your breathing, slow down your physiological response, let go of the tension in your muscles, you can wake your brain back up and then actually think about it like, okay, I'm experiencing anger. What's going on in my life in this moment where that anger might come in? Is this anger going to be a productive kind of anger, as in the energy that I need right now to right some kind of wrong in my life? If so, then be angry and fuel it towards something that makes this world a better place. And if it is if you're angry because you're beating yourself up for something you did 6 years ago and it came back in and you made the cringe face and you slapped your own forehead and you thought, what an idiot. Is that going to change what happened 6 years ago? No. Is it going to help you feel better today? No. So again, it comes back to giving yourself a little grace. So I don't think anybody's gotten better as a person by beating themselves up.
That's really good self-awareness to just be able to be like, okay, and I am angry. And it's funny, I saw a meme on Facebook last night that said, you know, they say all about the horoscopes and the zodiac signs or whatever. They were like, I'm a Pisces. They were like, when Pisces get angry, like, you don't want to be around them. I'm like, yeah. And then my friend who posted it, she said, I've never seen you angry before. I was like, good.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Exactly. You won't get me there. But like, because I know that about myself, when I get angry, I just walk away. I'm like, I just gotta walk away. Okay. Last question. I asked everyone this, and I really hope you eat chicken. You eat chicken? Okay. Popeyes, churches, KFC. Oh, forgot the last one. Who you marrying? Who you dating? Who you dumping?
Oh man. Okay.
A lot riding on this question now.
Yeah, it's fair. At this point now, I am dumping KFC.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. I'm good. I think that our paths just kind of need to go in separate directions. It's not KFC. Actually, no, it is. It's KFC. I don't. I am going to date Popeyes, and I'm going to marry churches.
You're going to marry churches? My daddy would love you.
I'm going to marry churches, and I'm going to get spicy chicken and jalapeno cheesy bombers or whatever they're called. Jalapeno cheddar bites things. They are delicious.
I'm getting into it. I won't eat it because I'm vegan, but I'm trying to be. But I'm here for it. I should find another thing that is more healthy, but everybody can relate to the chicken.
Yeah.
Okay, is the chicken? Well, almost everybody. Is there? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So thank you so much for doing this interview with me. It was lovely talking to you. How do you want my guests to find you? Are you pretty active on social? You can definitely drop how they can find you, or I don't know.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I've got a couple different ones. My professional Instagram is, you see, he doesn't know his own professional Instagram. It's just Collin Pearman. So COLLIN PEARMAN. And I've got some different, mental health tips and information about my mental health app that's coming out. And say hi.
Absolutely. I'll definitely say hi. I follow. So, I'm there. Okay, I'll leave that in the show notes. Colin, you don't go anywhere, but you guys, we're headed on to the next segment.
I love one of the things that Colin said, what you practice grows stronger. And I think that's with our mental health, and that's with our lives as well. What we practice grows stronger. In marriage, what we practice, communication, kindness, love, we can grow into that. What we practice, hate, bigotry, racism, grows stronger. These things can all be counterbalanced by what we practice. So if we practice love, if we practice kindness to ourselves, to other people, we can grow so much. This has been like a rough week for me, and I apologize for getting this episode out a little late. Just a day late, but never $1 short. So thank you so much for listening. And also, I'm going to link in the description to Colin's app that he was referring to towards the end, which we didn't really get into. But you'll definitely want to check that out and definitely follow him. He's awesome resource. You can follow me at Young Black Mrs. on Instagram and Facebook. I've been popping off a little bit, but if you like to see what I'm chewing, I post it on my stories, and I do a weekly. No, it's not a weekly. Whenever I go to the grocery store, I've been going to the grocery store every 2 weeks, so it's been every other week. And whenever I go to the grocery store, that's when I post my grocery haul. So you have to catch that too. That'll just brighten your day, I'm sure. Okay, guys, thanks so much for listening. And the next time you'll hear my voice will be my 50th episode. My 50th episode. So I have no idea what I'm going to do, but it's going to be great. And that's going to be on June 11th. Alrighty. Until next time, peace.